Good morning, friends. Welcome to another live virtual class from Reuzel on this beautiful Monday. Today, we have the pleasure of introducing our fellow friend and Scumbassador, Elliot Flint from Dallas, Texas. Thank you very much for joining us today. Take it away, Elliot. Have fun.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. My name is Elliot Flint. This is my buddy Lance here. We're going to be doing our live stream today from the Adolphus Hotel in downtown Dallas. This is going to be the oldest hotel in Dallas, built in 1912. I'm going to get started today and show you guys just a classic haircut in the way that I do things. If you have any questions along the way, please just interrupt me. I'm here to answer questions today. So you guys, I'm going to start my haircut today. Lance, we're going to do kind of a skin fade on the side, and then just kind of wear the top a little bit looser, more of a classic style. So I'm going to start by just thoroughly wetting his hair, making sure that everything is saturated so I can kind of see what his hair wants to do. You see? As you guys can see, his hair has grown out for about a little bit over a month now. I cut Lance's hair pretty regularly. So right now I'm kind of just looking for any imperfections in the hair, seeing anything that might have grown out a little bit weird or a little bit too heavy, and look for things that we can fix today. So I'm going to start with my fine tooth comb. I'm going to do a parting following Lance's natural hairline a little bit below and separate the side from the top. And so like you see in a lot of videos, I'm going to do following kind of just a little bit below his natural parting here. Can you all see?
Yeah.
So I'm going to start out, and I'm just going to set my baseline in the shape of the haircut. We're going to kind of make like a square shape. We don't want anything to look like a mushroom or a little bit too short on the side. So I'm going to start with my clippers set in the closed position. So every time I do this, you want to make sure that you keep your body nice and straight. And you want to make sure that you're totally parallel with your customer. I'm going to pick up all the hair that can reach and set in my first baseline.
Can you turn a little more to the side, I guess? Yeah.
So we're basically going to follow this part all the way around the head. And then once we get on our baseline set, we're just going to follow that all the way down. And we're just going to take all the bulk off. As you can see, I'm going to try and take this bottom section as low as I possibly can. That way I can just fade right into it with my open setting on my clipper.
Your arm is blocked.
So you guys can see I've set in my baseline and taken off everything off of this side. Did anybody have any questions so far? So I'm actually going to switch over to the other side. We're going to do the same thing. And just meet it up in the back. So every time I go to cut again, I always like to add a little bit more water, just so you have lots of ability to move the hair with your comb and grab the hair properly. I like to always do my rough draft. I always like to do it in wet hair. And once we get done with this first section, then we'll dry it, and then we'll kind of refine the haircut and add my own personal touches. So y'all can see I'm following his natural hairline. We're just going to take the line back and meet it in the same section we did on the other side. So I'm going to try and show you guys really well at this angle how we're going to keep the 90 degrees. So as you can see, I'm just grabbing everything that will reach, and we're going to pull it out 90 degrees from his carving. We're going to follow this line all the way around. If you guys didn't know me, I've been working for Reuzel for about 4 years now. I've been barbering for about 10. I grew up in Dallas, Texas. That's where I cut hair now at Brass Tacks Barbershop. I travel around for Reuzel monthly. We just started back up after the pandemic. I'm very excited to be doing this live stream today. Hopefully I got lots of friends out there watching. So now I've set in my baseline. Like I said, I'm just going to take off all the bulk on the bottom and match it up to my baseline at the top.
Some comments so far say, hello from Bangkok, one fine cut. And then Mexico present.
How's it going, guys?
Shout out from Mexico.
So now I have my clipper set to open. I'm just going to take it up and try and blend it into my, my clipper section on my haircut. The shortest part I could go with my comb. I'm going to take this bottom section down to the skin. I'm probably going to do it after we dry the hair just to speed this process up a little bit so you guys can kind of see what we're doing. Because Lance's occipital bone is kind of right in this area, I'm going to do kind of a lower fade just so we don't, so we leave enough room here so the hair doesn't spike up. Pretty much with the occipital bone, I would say it's a rule of thumb. If you start cutting up higher than that, gravity will cause that to spike up. You see.
Juniper said, "Hi, Daddy."
So y'all can see, I kind of set my baseline here along the parietal ridge. I've taken off my bottom section. I'm going to basically go in now and I'm going to blend the top to the sides. I'm going to do that on both sides. That way Lance can slick his hair back or part it, however he likes to wear his hair. And so again, before I do any cutting, I'm going to go ahead and re-wet the hair again. I'm going to comb everything over that won't reach. So I can see Lance kind of has a natural growth in this direction. So we're going to start on this side. So starting at this point right behind where the ear connects, I'm just going to pull everything out that will reach. Make sure that I'm pulling out 90 degrees again. We're just going to match it to our baseline, our first baseline that we created. So y'all can see you got a little bit of disconnection here. Y'all can see it. We're just going to follow that all the way around and connect the sides, the top to the sides. So this part in front of the ear, we need to leave a little bit of room so he can slip his hair back, you see. So what we're going to do is just kind of loosely disconnect it, or loosely connect it. So starting at this point again, I'm just going to pull everything out 90 degrees, and we're just going to connect that, leaving a little bit more length towards the front. So I can see the shape that we're starting to create here. So back to this side, we're going to comb everything over the little reach. We're going to add a little bit of water. I'm going to do the same thing starting right here in front of the ear, or behind the ear. Grab everything in the reach. I can see it's quite disconnected again.
Got some more comments. Somebody said, "Perfect cut." Someone said, "I miss Reuzel in my life. Hard to find out here." Someone else said, "Wish I could have your cut. You cut my hair. Perfect job. Hard to find a man like you, brother."
Thank you. Yeah, whenever I started to cut hair, I always watched the Reuzel videos, the education videos. I think we're very fortunate to have a lot of great barbers now teaching, and streaming online. I used to sit for hours and watch the original show on DVD. I probably watched it about 5,000 times already, until I kind of figured out a way that worked for me. So I'll show you guys. Just going to keep connecting it to that baseline we created. So again, now that we're getting kind of working towards that front section, I'm just going to pull it out 90 degrees and just gradually blend that to the front section, leaving a little bit of length towards the front. So by connecting both sides like this, Lance, most of the time you can see he has a pretty strong natural part here. By connecting both sides like that, I'm kind of making it so he can wear his hair just loose. He doesn't really have to always style his hair. What would happen is if we constantly always cut it, if you took the haircut starting with this part, then just blended it on one side, what would happen is if he gets out of the pool, you'd have a long tail on one side, and it would be too long in the back on one side. So by doing this, I'm kind of giving him a little bit more options with his haircut, so he doesn't necessarily have to wake up every day and style his hair right away. So now, I'm basically just we cut both sides. We combed everything over this way, and blended it. Now, it's going to be a little bit too heavy in the middle. So what I'm going to do is just, I created a guide here. I'm going to show you guys. Mm-hmm. So if you follow that baseline that we created, we're just going to follow that up. And once we get to this point, I'm going to go vertical. I'm going to grab all the hair that will reach. So you guys can see, this is going to be the shortest, as short as it can get. This will be the shortest part of the haircut. If you go any shorter than this, the hair will spike up in the back. We're basically just going to flat top it. We're going to take all the way down to the middle. And just follow that back all the way, taking around all the way to the front. Okay, you guys can see I'm trying to grab each time everything that will reach. Is there any questions so far?
None in the comments. Feel free to ask questions.
Yeah, feel free to ask questions, guys. So guys, now I've pretty much done my rough draft. I'm basically now just going to go back in with my grooming tonic. We're going to blow dry the hair, make it as big as possible. I'm going to go back and refine it and clean up the blend, and then refine the top a little bit more. So I prefer this. We have the spray version, and we have this bottle version of our grooming tonic. It's all depending on, it's all preference. I'm old school. I kind of like this way to work it with my hands. So I'm going to get about this much, just about a handful of the grooming tonic. I'm going to work it into from scalp to end. So just like you would with combing, make sure you have this applied fully to the hair. What it's going to do is it's just going to help to protect his hair from heat when blow drying, and to give it a little bit of hold so we can see what his hair wants to do with product in it. I recommend grooming tonic for everybody. Whenever you find a pomade that you like, I think this is a perfect companion to that. I have a lot of days I just wear a grooming tonic on its own for a loose look. That's a lot of times what Lance does as well. The grooming tonic also works really well cocktailed with any of our pomade. I think that it kind of helps just to seal it in and set it in. So with my blow dryer, I'm going to have it on high volume and medium heat. I'm going to use also my vent brush. I like to have a vent brush with smaller bristles so you can grab the hair. A lot of barbers, if you don't have a vent brush, you can also use your clipper comb. You just want something that can really easily grab the hair and allow you to manipulate it. You can see you really want to be able to grab it and put a lot of tension on the hair when you're drying. So with the vent brush, I'm going to work basically in 3 sections. I'm going to blow dry this side, I'm going to blow dry this side, and then I'm going to work from the back towards the front. That way there's no wet sections underneath the hair.
We got some more comments here. We got Selena, good morning from Colorado in the beauty box. Brody says, Elliot, my dude. And then he says, why you do good at cutting hair? And then someone else said, hello from Sweden. Hi from Canada. From Cambodia. From Belgium. How do you name that type of style of cut?
I would say this is kind of a classic cut. It's along the lines of the pompadour, but it lends, we can wear it with the part as well. This is kind of a universal classic haircut, I would say. So y'all can see just my rough draft. You can see the shape here. We got the nice short sides tapered down towards the back, and then a nice flat top on the top of this hair. I'm going to go through now and just clean up my fade. You guys can see I still have my little disconnection here. We're going to clean up around the neckline. And then I'm going to go through and just texture the top a little bit so he can wear his hair a little bit looser. I'm going to show you guys today a little trick. I like to use our new Reuzel texture powder. It really helps for like a really big added lift. If you're looking for a lot of volume in your hair, especially with fine hair like this, I always start with texture powder and then finish it with any of our pomades. It just will help to give you a little bit more hold and a little bit more lift without weighing the hair down so much. So guys, I'm going to go in with my trimmer here, and we're just going to zero out the bottom and take it down to the skin. Lance's hair has a little bit of a ducktail here, so basically this will just allow him to have maybe an extra week or so to before needing another haircut. Since we already set in our baseline, I know that we can't go any shorter than this along our parietal ridge. So basically, we're just going to taper up to that point. I do this with a lot of my customers. I do a lot of fades in the barber shop. This is kind of a nice, very, very nice, safe way of working, keeping enough hair on the top. I've seen a lot of times where people will start from the bottom and fade up, and what happens is inevitably you kind of get that mushroom shape. So this is kind of a nice, safe way of avoiding that.
Jose says, hello from Mexico.
Jose.
Someone else said, hi from India, Nepal.
Very nice, hello.
Nepal, sorry.
So now I'm just going to go in with my foil shaver, and we're going to take this a little bit shorter. Just around the bottom. I'm going to go back with my clipper now and refine my blend. I'll show you guys here. So with my clipper in the closed setting, I'm basically just going to flick out at this bottom line and try to taper it into my previous base, my previous guide. As you guys can see, I'm really, I kind of lean the clipper back on the heel. I really try to flick out this bottom piece to blend into that. If you ever have trouble doing this section, you can always put on the half guard or the 0.5 guard and kind of help you to blend into that section.
Old Dirty Barber. Thanks for the videos, Reuzel. Greetings from Argentina. Someone else said, super, sir. Someone else said, hello from Malaysia. My favorite classic cut. Hashtag only classic, no shit.
So guys, now I'm just going to go back with my clipper in the closed position and my clipper cone. We're just going to blend into my previous rough draft. So a lot of times if you're doing this section, you kind of want to remember where your baseline is. Just do the same thing, pull it up, and try to look for that longest piece, and just work down from there to refine your blend.
Javier said, hi, I'm from Mexico too. I would like to know if you have any advice you can give me to improve my velocity in the haircut. I have 5 years cutting hair and I still struggle with this. You are the best.
I'm not quite sure I understand what you mean by velocity. Are you trying to, do you mean the speed or the volume?
We'll see. I'll let you know.
So you guys can see the fade is kind of taking shape here. And this is kind of all preference of a barber. You can kind of do your own little personal details here. Whenever you're doing these haircuts and whenever you're going down this short, make sure you always use your mirror. The mirror will be your best friend to tell you if your haircuts will look good on the street or not. I've seen a lot of times where my haircut will look perfect in the shop, and then they walk out on the street, and it's, if you don't use your mirror, you can really tell that your haircut won't turn out right. We're basically just going to keep working all the way around the head, just refining our fade.
He means speed.
Oh, your speed. I would really try to incorporate using the baseline, and then just work fast through that. Don't worry too much on the small details. Just knock out all the bulk first, and then go back and take your time on the fade and refine the top. Kind of working this way, you could knock out all the bulk with flip over comb like this in about 5 minutes, and then you could spend the next 25, 35, 40 minutes just kind of refining and adding your own personal details. I would really practice kind of trying to avoid using guards. It'll probably speed you up a little bit too. Really, as soon as you put a guard to the head, you're creating a line. So as little lines as you can do, the better.
Someone from the Philippines says, hi sir, nice cut.
Thank you. So again, we're just going to go with my clipper close and my clipper comb. We're just going to refine this. You basically want to try to get this as short as possible. Just get that comb as close to the scalp as you can. A lot of times on the shorter sections, what I'll do is I'll just switch over to my trimmer. I think a lot of times you can get the haircut a little bit shorter just using this. It's a nice little trick I have, kind of switching from the open guard to the clipper section. So I can see using this trimmer, you can really get nice and short. Now I've pretty much got the sides pretty much where I like them. I'm just going to go back through now and texture the top a little bit and take some extra weight out. The way I like to do that, I'm going to actually do it with my straight shear and just my clipper comb. I'm going to comb everything to the side and look for weight in the haircut. You could do this also with your blending shear. I kind of like to be a little bit more precise in this section and just, I'm basically just going to go back and redo every single baseline I created and do the haircut all over again. I'm just kind of refining my shape. You guys can see it's a little bit heavy here. It's very important when you do your haircut to always dry it and make sure you look for things like this. If you let your client walk out of the shop with wet hair, you would never notice this unless you dry it. So it's very, very important. Like I said, I'm just going to work the same way I did before. I'm going to pull everything over and make sure I keep it out of 90 degrees. And I'm just going to just cut into my shape here. And just try to match up to my previous cut baseline. So I can see it's already starting to look a little bit smoother.
August said, "Thank you for the demonstration. I will put into practice some details that I noticed that I'm missing. Greetings from Mexico."
Thank you. So working into this front section, you can see it's a little bit heavy. What we're going to do here is just kind of the same thing, but making sure that we don't, make sure that we retain our length and don't change the shape that we created originally. So I'm just going to basically cut into my shape, and we're just taking weight out. We're not changing all the work we did before. Sometimes you can also just pick it up like ruler and the shape. So I can see it's a lot smoother here on this transition here on the side. And we're going to keep working around. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Swing everything over that will reach. And y'all can see a little bit of a weight line here. I'm just going to pull out everything that will reach, and we're just going to cut into our shape, taking out that bulk and that weight line. As you can see, at this point, I'm going to grab that same piece I did in the back. We're just going to cut it into the shape on the top. So transitioning into the top here. We're going to go back to vertical. And you guys can see there's a little bit of a disconnection here, so I'm just going to clean that up and refine that shape on the top to make it extra flat. That way everything lays down nice and developed.
Douglas says, hey all, from Florida. And Bernard said, looking super, sir.
Thank you. You guys can see I'm kind of just making sure there's no weight. Really constantly coming back and forth. If you see a little bit of weight here, I'm going to pick it up. We're just going to kind of look for that. Kind of aiming everything towards that middle piece. So that way, no matter how his hair falls, it will look good. And you want to constantly just move it and see where there's too much hair. I can see the haircut's pretty much done. We really kind of taken a little bit of length off the top unit, so he has lots of movement here, lots of volume, lots of weight off. And you can see no matter how it mess up his hair, it kind of always keeps the shape. So I'm going to show you guys the trick I did with, I was telling you guys previously about with the hair, this matte texture powder. So this stuff is a little bit tricky. You want to make sure you don't use too much. I think Reuzel did a good job and created a nice lid that doesn't come out super fast. So before, I always like to do this for my customers, before you put product in, just make sure you blow all their hair out of their head. You don't want to have hair all over sticking to them. So I'm going to go with my powder, and I'm just going to start from the back and work towards the front with this stuff. I'm going to show you guys. You see?
Oh, here you want me to just go closer to the back?
Yeah, so I always try to move all the hair forward first, and then just like this. And kind of work towards the back towards the front. You guys can see I'm going to work again. And another little trick I have, a lot of times I'll just use a hair pick, and this will kind of help to work the product through the hair without putting too much tension on it and weighing the hair down. So if you have a client asking for ways to wear their hair a little bit looser, this matte texture powder would be a great product to use for that. Creating kind of a looser look, natural look. So I can see that stuff will keep all of the volume we want. A lot of times what I'll do is afterwards, if he's going to be out doing stuff today, we're going to have a little bit more hold. I'm just going to go with the old school green. This is our medium hold grease pomade. This is my absolute favorite one. This is Scumbassador. I like this because he can recomb his hair, restyle his hair probably about 10,000 times, and it won't lose any hold. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to work from the sides towards the front, and then making sure we go from root to end. So you can see by cutting it this way, we can wear Lance's hair kind of like a palm or a slick back. We could easily make this lay down a little bit tighter and do kind of a classic slick back just by adding a little bit of water or grooming tonic over the top of it. I think probably with Lance's hair, we're going to go in and put a little bit of a natural side part in there. Just since his hair wants to follow to the side here. And so what's cool about the way I cut it, it's pretty easy. You can part his hair. Generally gravity will tell him, but you can really just put a part anywhere since the hair is totally blending. So another trick I have is to make sure you always keep your second hand right behind your comb. So as you're combing, you're able to pat it down and keep those nice comb lines. See? Hey guys, I appreciate everybody for watching today. Did anybody have any questions before we finish up? Yeah, since we have a few more seconds, I'm going to show you a brand new product we have. This is our Reuzel mustache wax. We got a nice candidate here for a mustache. So I'm going to show you guys just how to use that. I'm going to comb his mustache down and just make sure our shape is pretty good. So I'm just going to refine this real quick and just show you guys. With a longer mustache, of course you want the length towards the bottom. You don't want to have too much length towards the center. And so what we're going to do is just comb everything down, and just starting at the longest point, just angle that up towards the center. And so that way when he combs his mustache out, everything will layer down perfect. So you see, usually when you're trimming a long mustache, you only want to make 1 or 2 cuts. That way you get a nice shape and don't take too much length off. So I'll show you guys, this is our newest product here. This is our Reuzel mustache wax. If you guys aren't familiar, this is a really, really good stuff. It's got kind of a stronger hold, so what'll happen is, as opposed to using a balm, this one will keep your mustache strong and shaped all day, as where a balm might cause it to sag a little bit. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that and warm it up through my fingers here. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to work from the center to the end, and then just kind of twirl it outward. See? So sometimes I'll go to 2 hands and make sure it's all twisted. And so a lot of times a trick I have to apply it, if you have to, just take your fine tooth comb and it'll help to thoroughly work that through the mustache. And kind of go back and refine that shape. Hey guys, thank you for watching today. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. And friends, I'll pass it over to you, okay?
Thank you, Elliot. That looks amazing. You guys did a beautiful job. Great hair, great work. Appreciate you. Got a lot of comments, positive comments today, so really nicely done. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate you commenting, checking in, and just generally looking out for us as we try to do for you. So thank you again. Anything else, Elliot?
That'll be it. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you again, gang, and we'll see you next week. Have a great one. Bye.